please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
We have been given a gift by God today to usher in a new dynasty.
Now you get RFK Jr.
Don't you want a president who's going to make America healthy again?
You get Tulsi Gabbard.
Putting our country in a continual state of war.
You get Elon Musk and you get J.D. Vance.
A hell of a way to start the next 4 years.
The right-wing Avengers.
We have an army of digital soldiers.
Department of Defense under Donald Trump will achieve peace through strength.
Shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one.
The rescission of 78 Biden-era executive actions, executive orders, presidential memoranda, and others.
The golden age of America has most definitely begun.
Begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay.
They're getting the dirt bags off these trees.
There's one guy who can fix this shit, and it's Donald Trump.
What's storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out.
Stand strong. The day is here. The battle's near. Put on the armor. Yeah. Belt the truth around my waist. Feet of peace, I take my place. Breastplate shining righteousness. Shield of faith, no fear, no death. Helmet of salvation, crown. The word of spirit cuts them down. Darkness trembles, shadows fall. I'm clothed in fire, I hear the call. Armor of God, I will not yield. Stand in the light, my sword, my shield. Against the night, against the light. The armor of God will never die. Every scheme and every snare broken by the power of prayer.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is Josh, and welcome to the Repill Project's Daily Dose, live with you Monday through Friday. I hope everybody is doing well out there and having a fantastic Thursday evening. We're troubleshooting Rumble. I don't know if it's just me or if it's all of Rumble. Oh, no, it is definitely not me. It's just a Rumble logo. Let me see if it's, I think that all of Rumble is down right now. So let me check this out real quick and see. Nope, Timcast is up. Seems like it's just me. Okay, let me see if I can fix this, because we got a lot of people sitting on Rumble and I don't know what's going on. So let me see here, because I heard SitRep was also not working. But I'm on Rumble. I'm like looking at Rumble right now, and it has me up there. Let's do this real quick. Let's go like this. I want to go into Rumble and play. Let me refresh this real quick. Oh. Okay, hold on. Auto boom boom. Okay, other channels are working on Rumble, just icon and a phone. Let me see here. Everything's set up on Rumble perfectly fine. There's no reason why it shouldn't be working. Let me see. I'm watching myself on Rumble. Okay, we're watching on Rumble. I'm watching myself. I don't know. Let me see here. This is an interesting one. I'm trying to refresh on my end, but there's like nothing I can do. Let me do this. I wonder if I can go in here, do this, go like that, and we're gonna create this. I want to try something real quick to see if we can get Rumble. Give me 1 second. This is only gonna take a quick flick, if you know what I mean. Put that there. Put that there. Try this. All right, let's see if that works. I just tried a different server code for Rumble. So apparently it didn't work. I don't know. So why don't we just send everybody on Rumble over to YouTube, because YouTube is working. So give me a second. I will grab that link for everybody on Rumble, the Rumble side. And I want to go in here, go to YouTube. I'm going to leave the Rumble one open for right now and see if it catches up, and maybe it's a Rumble problem or whatnot. But yeah, every other channel is working. It's not my streaming service. It's working on Rumble's side, this side, but it's not working on our page side. I don't know. Here, let me just do this. Go watch on YouTube. Rumble's not going to like that too much, but hey, not my problem. Get your tech together, Rumble. Okay, because I mean, like, I'm literally watching on Rumble right here. Like, share my screen for you. Like, to show you this. Like, if you can see this right here, to show you. That's me on Rumble. That's my Rumble right now. Like, if you can see this, like streaming right here. Everything perfectly fine. That's me on Rumble. So that's my. I don't know. It's got to be a Rumble problem, because it's not our back end problem. So, anyways, enough delay. I'm sending those people over on Rumble to YouTube. Go to YouTube. I will keep that Rumble stream open so everybody can go over to YouTube. Thank you, Roxy, for helping mediate that. And we can see the numbers kind of pumping up on YouTube already. All right. So what is up, people? How we doing? Welcome to Earth Season 2026. Yep. And you know what? Tonight you can expect fireworks and big booms. I like that title. That's like one of my favorite titles. So up next on Earth Season 2026, Cuba, Mexico, and cartels. You heard it. You heard it here first. Cuba, Mexico, cartels. That's what's coming. We're in the midst of Save Israel for Last. I know. But what is coming up next is Cuba, Mexico, and cartels. It's absolutely eliminating this. It's securing the Northern Hemisphere. And this is what I think the Trump administration will come out and try to talk about, is pertaining to the national security strategy and the national defense strategy, that their number one objective is to secure the Northern Hemisphere for the United States of America and its close neighbors and countries. And what they're going to do is absolutely decimate the cartels over the course, I probably would say, the next 3 months. Yep. Rumble is not working, guys. I know. I'm keeping it live right now. And maybe what we do, maybe what I can do is let me end this on Rumble. End and close. I'm going to end that on Rumble. Maybe it's a Rumble Studio problem. Let me try this real quick. I got an idea. Okay. I got an idea. Because we got a big audience on Rumble. So I got an idea here. Let me try this out real quick. I'm having a feeling it's a Rumble Studio problem. And if that's the case, and this is how fast it takes to set up a stream, just to everybody, FYI, literally 30 seconds and you're done. I'm going to go get the stream configuration. We're going to go in here, pop that in there, pop that in there, save that, and let's see if this works. You got to be smarter than the technology, right? You got to be smarter than the technology. And it should be coming up now. Let me see. Oh, 14 viewers, man. And then that AI photo that I put out there of myself. Oh my goodness. Let me actually, so I might have to do this real quick. Let me refresh one more time. I know we're delayed just a little bit. We were delayed even getting started. I apologize. But you guys love this stuff as much as I do. Oh, look at that. We're on Rumble. Rumble is up. Oh, I fixed it. It's up and running. Go check it out. It's up. We fixed it. I fixed it because you got to be, yes, it did work. Go to Rumble. Go to my page. Not the same link. Different link. But you got to be smarter than technology, people. You got to be smarter than technology. And there you go. Rumble. I did a little dance. So coming up next, season 2026 of Earth. You got to absolutely love this. Okay. Let me get this situated so we can begin the show, because I know everybody's all antsy. Like, Josh, you just delayed like 15 freaking minutes going through all this. Yes, but I have to now get everything up. Oh, hello. We are up and running. So it's a Rumble Studio problem. And if you're watching on YouTube, that's fine. Just stay there. What else we got going on? Dan Bongino put out a video yesterday, and it was quite interesting. Maybe he's talking about real demons. I think he is. But I'm not a big Dan Bongino fan. Everybody knows this. I had some fucking retard today on X call me out and like, you're posting Bongino and you're posting Mario. What is wrong with you? You've turned. I'm like, fuck off. Like, dude, I can post whoever I want. It doesn't mean I agree with them or love them or like them. And maybe they had a good message. I can absolutely do that. That is within my confines. And I've said multiple different times, I'm not a big fan of Bongino. But listen to what Bongino says here, because this is odd.
Closer you get to God, the harder the devil works on you. Well, the devil's working overtime now. He's cashing in that OT check. Probably spreading the wealth around too. Folks, something else is going to happen. If this is the last show I do, or Erica or anyone else, I just want it on the record that I was on the right side of this. And by the right side, I don't elevate myself or my character above you or anyone else. I just mean like the non-demon side.
What the hell is he talking? Something is going to happen. I think Bongino is indicating, as much as what we're all feeling and expressing as well, that the pot is boiling. Something big is about to happen. Whether it's a false flag, whether it's a breakout of a global war, Middle East, Israel type of stuff, I don't know. Or even potentially deep state pushing back. I don't know. I don't know what's on Bongino's mind. I wish he would have said more. But that was really, really interesting. So, yep, Rumble is up and working because Josh is a tech guy. Josh understands technology. It's just about finding the right solutions to any problem. That's it. Donald Trump today. The United States is committed to peace, and we encourage everyone in the Middle East region to maintain their commitment to allowing our negotiations to beautifully unfold. The markets are loving what is happening with oil prices way down and stocks are way up. We expect a complete ceasefire on all fronts, including Lebanon, Hezbollah, and Israel. Thank you for your attention on this matter. Now, he says we expect a complete ceasefire on all fronts, Lebanon, Hezbollah, and Israel. And I also want to point out the part of his comment here. Trump says, encourage everyone in the Middle East region to maintain their commitment to allowing our negotiations to beautifully unfold. So, I was with the Badlanders today on the GART special they do on Thursdays. And I don't agree with everything that they say. I agree with some of the things they all say. But, one of the things that they were talking about was that, the Iran war was fake. It was fake. It was just a fake war to kind of set up Israel. I don't believe that. I think that it was absolutely a real war, that we went in there, we decapitated 3 levels of leadership, the IRGC, in the mullahs and the clergy and the Ayatollah and everything like that. That's just logical in my side. Although I do believe that Trump behind the scenes, from the early days of the first Trump administration, was working with certain people within Iran, various different politicians in Iran, Pezeshkian or Abarashki or whoever it might have been. And when he says that allowing our negotiations to beautifully unfold, I believe that this was a plan for a very, very long time. They didn't necessarily know all the details of how it was going to unravel, but the idea is to re-enter Iran into the Western world, not as a theocracy controlled by an Ayatollah and the mullahs, but instead as a civilian component government that leads their people, and very much like Qatar or UAE or Saudi Arabia. And I think that Donald Trump has set up the perfect situation for this to happen. Now, there's actually an indication that we've been right about this whole damn time. So we've talked about Mojtaba Khomeini and how he's not really in charge. You have the IRGC hardliners, which are like the Ayatollah's militia. It's not really the Iranian army, but it's the Ayatollah's militia. And you have these hardliners that were basically fighting for power with the civilian component government, but Trump would only communicate with the civilian government of Iran. And what that did is it disempowered the IRGC hardliners who tried to control the negotiations, tried to control everything. And it empowered the politicians, including President Pezeshkian. Now, this is really important because the people of Iran, they look towards strength in their leaders, and they follow the strength within their leaders. This is something that is cultural heritage within Iran. Now, we've been saying that Iran is very factionalized, as that you have various different factions in the IRGC, but in the civilian component government, most of them are all like non-radicals, very rational, logical people that just want their country to survive, and they want sanctions ended, but they could never negotiate that at the level of the Ayatollah or the IRGC. But now's their chance and their opportunity to do exactly that. And one of the ideas that I've been talking about is that Mojtaba Khomeini has zero power whatsoever on all of this. That whomever Trump is focused on talking to, that is the person who has the conch. That is the person that has the power. So, what did we learn today? Let me pull this up. Iran's supreme leader, Mojtaba Khomeini, just put out an official statement, and he confirmed something very he confirmed something this week that many of us have been pointing towards. He said this: he personally disagreed with the deal and only permitted it because someone else took responsibility for it in advance. What? Here's this quote: I, in principle, had a different opinion, but due to the commitment that the honorable president gave on behalf of himself and other members to uphold the rights of the Iranian nation, I issued permission for it. Pezeshkian presented it to Mojtaba, and he didn't agree with it, didn't want it, but went with it anyway. That is capitulation to the civilian component government. That is the Ayatollah bowing down to the civilian government and saying that you have the power on this as long as you claim the responsibility. My thoughts are that the Ayatollah in Iran 10, 20 years from now is going to be viewed very much like the king in England towards the Iranian people. He's just going to be a placeholder figure that doesn't really run the government, but has a say, but nobody really cares what he says. At least that's my thoughts. Today, Iran suspended its delegation trip to Switzerland for the opening round of nuclear negotiations due to the ongoing Israel military operation in southern Lebanon. Right now, Hezbollah and Israel are going at it. Yes, Israel, from what I get, Israel struck first. Okay, but what can we see next after this? This is where the part gets really, really interesting. So you have Middle Eastern peace on the line with Iran. Donald Trump has put this out there multiple different times to Benjamin Netanyahu. Multiple times. We're the big player. You're the small fish. What's happening in Lebanon is nothing. Let it go. We will negotiate it. Just stop. Netanyahu comes out and says, no, we're going to defend Israel. We're going to do this. We're going to bomb every... Israel didn't strike first. Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure they did, but we know how the news reports. So and the reason I say that is because Hezbollah has orders from Iran to not. And so if it is progressing like that, I'm not going to get into the idea of who struck first. My thoughts are go to the aggressor, Israel. Israel is invading southern Lebanon. They shouldn't even be there. It has really nothing to do with Hezbollah. And Donald Trump has told them to leave. Donald Trump has told them to stop. Donald Trump has told them to have a ceasefire. When are these countries going to start listening to Donald Trump? That's my thought on that. Now, with it, Iran is stating that, hey, this is, a restriction within our agreement, the MOU. You can't do this. You got to take control of Israel. And I don't think that Israel's actions should be beholden to Trump. That's my thought. Israel's actions should not be beholden to Trump, right? Makes sense. And I think that you're going to see this separation here soon. That Trump is going to come back out and say, listen, we pulled our military back. We're doing what we are. Israel's doing what they're doing. Not our problem. You can figure that out with them. And I think that once Trump does something like that or calls up Netanyahu and says, look, we're not going to defend you if you keep this shit up, that's when things are going to transition away from Israel's our greatest ally, which they're not, by the way. That's just a marketing term coined by AIPAC. Who's our greatest ally? Historically, our greatest ally is France. Yeah. Go all the way back to the Revolutionary War to current day. Our greatest ally is France. The U.S. turned the tide in Iran without ground troops. The Ayatollah is dead. Their program is dead. And we're the world's leading energy exporter. You know, Jesse Waters has a way of articulating stuff sometimes better than me. Listen to what he says.
Greg made such a good point yesterday, and it's maybe with age comes wisdom.
Thank you.
He really stepped back from this and looked at the big picture. And let's remind everybody what Greg said. We whipped Iran. Their nuke program is dead. The Ayatollah is dead. We basically did it with 12 casualties, God bless them, and no ground troops. And now the United States is the world's leading exporter of energy. And we did it in 3 months. You look at that and you tell any Democrat president over the last 47 years, would you take those results? All of them would say yes. And oil is at the same price it was now than it was before the war. I mean, those are incredible results. But let's get into the details. This is from the document. Iran agreed at a minimum to destroy their enriched uranium on site as we watch.
Pay-per-view
And if we don't,
like your mom making
and if they don't do it, they don't get any sanctions relief. That's the deal. And they can't even get to the uranium. So even if they leave it at the status quo, which they said it remains at the status quo is that it's dead and buried. You can't enrich what you can't get. All right, so that's that. The Strait opens, no attacks, no tolls. Now, they put this thing in there at the end of 60 days, Iran and Oman can negotiate with the Saudis and the Kuwaitis over how they're going to deal with the Strait under international law. Well, under international law, you can't toll. And you think the Saudis are agreeing to a toll system? No, that's just to let them feel good about themselves. You keep talking about this $300 billion fund. Greg's right. They're $1 trillion in the hole. All right. Guess who controls the investment fund? The United States. We issue the license. We issue the sanctions relief. We issue the contracts. Everything that's invested in Iran, we determine whether Iran is investable. And that doesn't happen unless they behave. Now, the vision of the deal is that Iran can either have cash flow, make love, make money, be a normal country, or they can fund terrorism and die. It's their choice. And if they go back to their mischief, we can hit them again with more bombs and blockades and sanctions. If they BS us, we can go back to it. It's no problem. All of these sanctions and all of this unfrozen cash and billions in funds that everybody around the table keeps talking about, it all gets paid if they behave. It's all at the part of the final deal.
I like Jesse. Jesse's a good dude. But see, that's what the Democrats, the rhinos, the pro-Israel lobby won't tell you. I was talking about this last night. The deal that is constructed puts the United States of America, President Donald Trump, in control of the economy of Iran. Think about that. The GCC partners are the ones that are going to help to invest to rebuild Iran. What Iran calls reparations are nothing more than the unfreezing of monies by the U.S. that sit in banks that is U.S. dollars, not Chinese yuan or euro. How much you want to bet that when Iran's oil starts flowing again, that part of this is going to move into the U.S. dollar, that the brokerage of Iranian oil will be done in U.S. dollars? I'm not worried about the Iranian delegation suspension. I think that Trump is going to take care of that with Israel. What does worry me is what Israel does. What is Israel's next move? And I think that's what a lot of us are waiting for, what a lot of us are expecting to happen next. Netanyahu just spoke on the U.S.-Iran Mutual Understanding Agreement, suggesting the conflict between Israel and Iran is far from over. The struggle is not over yet, and more challenges lie ahead. So just as we restored security and prosperity to the Gaza envelope, so we will restore security and prosperity to the southern settlements. This requires maintaining the security zone in southern Lebanon. This requires that we do not leave it there as long as Israel's security needs require it. In a broader view, we will continue to adhere to the supreme goal that has guided me during most of my adult life. Iran will not have nuclear weapons. As long as I am Prime Minister of Israel, it will not happen. I don't think he's getting the memos that Trump is blind carbon copying him on. But see, the world is realizing that Israel is a liability. Trump is knowing this. This was the ultimate rug pull. Trump went along with it. Trump played along with it. The rhinos, oh, we love Trump. We love Trump. He's going after Iran with Israel. Oh my God, we love it. We love it. We love Trump. Israel's like, we love Trump. Oh my God, we love Trump. Then Trump's like, rug pull. Hey, Israel, sit back. You weren't doing much anyway. Let the big boys handle this. And everybody hates him. What's my thoughts on the Samson option? I think it's always in play. But there would have to be something massive in order for that to happen. Like a false flag nuclear event over Israel blamed on Iran. I hope to God that does not happen. JD Vance today. Oh my God. JD Vance is going off on Netanyahu in his cabinet. Listen to this.
Now, I saw the Axios report, that Netanyahu is fuming. That's not reflective of the conversations that I've had with him, but maybe he's saying something to somebody else that he's not saying to me. What I will say, and this does bother me, is that you have seen people within Bibi's cabinet who have come out and attacked the deal, and in some ways very personally attacked the President of the United States. And I guess my message to them would be twofold. Number one, Donald J. Trump is the only head of state in the entire world who is sympathetic to the nation of Israel at this moment in time. And he happens to be the head of state of the world's superpower. If I was in the cabinet of the Israeli government, I might not be attacking the only powerful ally that I have anywhere left in the entire world. And the second message I would give to some of those cabinet members, Bibi, to his credit, has not gone down this path, but to some of these cabinet members in Israel who are attacking the President of the United States, the other thing that I would say is that over the last 3 months, 2/3 of the defensive weapons that have protected your homeland have been built by American hands and paid for by American tax dollars. The problem for Israel is not Donald J. Trump. And anybody in Israel who thinks their biggest problem is the President of the United States needs to wake up and smell the reality of the situation that country is in.
Did anybody else think that he was going to say, wake up and smell what the rock's cooking? I was waiting for JD Vance to actually do that. Yep. And so JD absolutely giving it to them. You know, another one here, talking about Ben Gvir, which is the one that JD Vance is mostly going after here. Listen to this.
But yeah, you've seen people in their system, Ben Gvir and Smotrich, who've attacked the deal. And I guess my response to them would be, what is your exact proposal? And, you know, you're a country of 9 million people. You can't just kill your way out of solving every single national security problem that you have. Look at what, but yeah, you've seen.
You can't just kill your way out of every single national security problem that you have. See, the dark secret is now public. Joe Kent, Tucker, all of these guys, whether you love them or hate them, it doesn't matter. They planted the seeds in the minds of Americans and Democrats and moderates and independents around people around this country. They planted the seed that Israel has power over the president. Yes, in Congress and Senate. And remember, they always iterated Congress and Senate, Congress and Senate. And then Trump comes out and shows you, no, Netanyahu doesn't have power and control over the presidency. But Senate, they want to play a game. Congress, to be determined. You know, interestingly enough, we're finding one person coming out and being against Israel. This is kind of interesting. Listen to this.
Well, you're absolutely right. When I was secretary, it was a constant theme by Netanyahu and his then government, the then defense minister, Ehud Barak, the former prime minister. It was relentless. It was a constant push. I remember...
what would he say to you?
What?
What would he say to you?
He would basically say, you need to support us in attacking Iran. And back then, this was, 2009 to the end of 2012, we had more capacity than Israel did on several fronts to do that.
You know why she's saying that? Because they controlled much of Iran during that time. But it's interesting that Hillary Clinton is coming out not liking Israel. And Ahmad Barak, oh, you mean Jeffrey Epstein's buddy? Yeah. So, interestingly enough, the day, 2 days or a few days after the MOU is signed, Ukraine launches a massive drone strike into the heart of Russia. Massive. Hitting various different oil facilities. Now, who's behind that? Well, G7's meeting right now. We know it's the UK and France, and we know it's Europe that is behind that. Who's behind Ukraine? Well, there is a big Israeli component behind all of that, but primarily, this is London. This is them trying to instigate World War III with Russia. So I replied to this video and I said, goodbye, Mr. Zelensky. The reason I say that is because I've talked about it multiple different times on this show before. Putin can end this war within 24 hours. He knows how to do it. He's just waiting for the right moment, the right time. And I believe that that's coordination with President Trump. I think that Putin is going to make a move. I think that you're going to see Kyiv on fire. I think Putin is going to try to take out Zelensky and his cabinet in Kyiv. That's my thoughts. That's why I said goodbye, Mr. Zelensky. Let me send this real quick. Yesterday, Donald Trump was talking about Syrian President Ahmad al-Shara, saying he has pulled the country together very quickly. He's very capable and he's very good to me. He's protected everything I've asked for. Now, that's a very interesting comment. And, Joe Lang was talking about this earlier. Like, what is he protecting? What is this guy protecting for Trump? Could it be the intel and information? So he actually, Joe Lang made a awesome post about this. That Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara, his background, he was an al-Qaeda insurgent who fought against U.S. forces in Iraq and served in the infamous Abu Ghraib prison. After joining al-Qaeda, al-Shara adopted the name Abu Muhammad al-Jolani, adding that al-Jolani part was a pseudonym in Arabic that means of the Golan, in reference to where his family originated. Sometimes after U.S. forces began to pull out of Iraq in 2007, al-Shara was released from prison and returned to Syria. In Syria, al-Shara founded and led the al-Qaeda affiliate organization al-Nusra Front. That's huge. So this is where it gets really, really interesting. In 2013, the leader of the Islamic State of Iraq, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, important to understand here, al-Baghdadi was a CIA-controlled person in Iraq, released a recorded message on the internet in which he announced that Jabhat al-Nusra was an extension of al-Qaeda in Iraq and Syria. Al-Baghdadi said that Abu Muhammad al-Jawlani, the leader of the Jabhat al-Nusra, had been dispatched by the group along with a group of men to Syria to meet with pre-existing cells in the country. Al-Baghdadi also said that the Islamic name of Iraq had provided Jabhat al-Nusra with the plans and strategy needed for Syrian civil war and had been providing them funding on a monthly basis. The new Syrian president wasn't just al-Qaeda leader in Syria. He was being funded by al-Baghdadi and ISIS. Now, that's so important because who funded al-Baghdadi and ISIS? The CIA. John McCain, Obama. So is it possible that what he is protecting for Trump is the records, is the files, is the information that pinpoints the guilt of the Obama administration, the guilt of John McCain, and multiple others for the creation of ISIS and ISIL? That was a great post he put out there. John Solomon, he is predicting Trump is about to drop evidence showing foreign countries interfered in the 2020 election in a way people never fully understood. And once this hits, it could force John Thune and others to hold the filibuster that pushed the Save America Act through. No, but it'll be the prerequisite for the national emergency on election integrity and infrastructure. Now, John Solomon posted that yesterday with Dan Bongino. Then today, follow this. Yesterday on Bongino, John Solomon comes out and says Trump is about to release the Kraken of 2020 election fraud. Okay. Then today, John Solomon comes out and says this. Now, what this does for me is this is a confirmation of his information yesterday.
One programming note. I want to make sure everybody on this show is aware of it. I put it as a disclaimer on all my shows. I mentioned it on my podcast today. For the next couple of months, I'm working as an unpaid government employee to help the government identify documents that can be released to the public. It's your information after all. Bureaucrats keep us from it. I have an opportunity to help the government identify some documents, some secrets, and things you should know about when it comes to weaponization, election integrity, other things. We're going to work on that. But during that time, I just want you to know, I've stepped aside as the editor-in-chief of Just the News. I still do my reporting. We're still going to do the amazing show here with Amanda. But I want everybody to know that I'm doing this. I'm unpaid. I don't take any money from the government. I think it's a good role for a journalist to play, getting more information out. But I want you to know personally.
Now, what I want you to remember is that night in April or March of 2017, when John Solomon pulls into his driveway and a black sedan is sitting over by his mailbox, two guys get out who are military intelligence, walk up to John Solomon and hand him a red binder full of information and say, investigate this. He goes and calls Sarah Carter, and that kicks it all off for John Solomon. That is your telltale sign that shit is about to hit the proverbial fan. It is coming. It is about to happen. Now, we had the Department of Homeland Security says Abraham Hermosillo Alvarez, a Mexican national, was the alleged leader of the terror plot targeting the UFC Freedom 250 at the White House. Yes, he was an illegal alien. And I bet you that they're going to find that he has cartel affiliations. 1 second here. Let me help Alpha real quick. 1 second. I'll use Studio. There. They're trying to get sit rep up and they were trying to figure out how to do it. I knew how to do it. I figured it out, man. I figured it out. And what type of stuff are we going to learn? Maricopa County reported that over 923,000 ballots were dropped off at drop boxes during the 2020 election. Officials' logs and chain of custody records could only account for 167,000 ballots. That leaves over 733,000 ballots completely unaccounted for. Yep. Now, does everybody remember California? We were talking about this during the mayoral election, right? Remember all this? Remember how we broke the story and said, hey, they were paying $2 a head on death row, 40,000 people, for votes. That's election fraud. They can't do that. And what was the headline today? FBI agents descend on Skid Row in massive voter fraud probe after stunning claims of election bribery. Now, who posted this? FBI's rapid response team. And they said, Not on our watch. Got them. Imagine if they go into California right now, which they're there, and they find the evidence that this actually happened, and they arrest people. What does that do to the election results, which are kind of still pending? I think that you're going to have a whole new election in California pertaining to the mayor and the governor's race. That's my thought. So we're going to, let me see real quick. Oh, never mind. We're not going to do that. 1 second. People are asking, how did you do that? I'm just that fucking good. I understand Rumble. I know how this works. I'm not a Bongino fan. This is a 6-minute video. I'm going to play most of it. Then we're going to come back. Tammy's going to come in with me when we come back here. But I want you to, and like I said, I'm not a Bongino fan. This is a good one, guys. This is a good one. Check this out with Bongino's. What is, Josh, did you read my text about my voter registration in California? Man, oh, Tim. Yeah, I did. I saw it, buddy. Listen to this. This is awesome. We were talking about this in the chat last night, and people are beginning to notice. Listen to this.
I can't say this enough, guys, and I will say it for the rest of this year and forever. It is our 250th anniversary. We shouldn't have made it 2.5 months, 2.5 years, or 25 years. And not only we make it, but we made it. You, your fathers, your grandfathers, who were bricklayers and plumbers, all this piping and electrical work, all these beautiful buildings, the Oculus I showed you yesterday in Atlanta, the stadium, who do you think built that? Not Obama. You didn't build that. Or Elizabeth Warren or the other. You did. All those wars that were fought overseas. You'd all be speaking German right now if it wasn't for heroic World War II vets like my grandfather. My uncle, who was killed and shot in the back, got 2 Bronze Stars with a V device in Vietnam, shot in the back. Look up his story, Gregory Ambrose. Check it out. It's on that memorial wall page. Read it yourself. We built this place. And now that all these foreigners are coming over here and these visitors, it's almost incredible. Not you and my audience. I know you've loved this place and you still love it. You love it still. But there are people out there, a lot of our younger folks and others who've been indoctrinated by a bunch of dipshit, bow tie wearing college professors with the cigarette with the stick at the end like Thurston Howell. America sucks. No, you suck, mother. You suck. You suck. You're a moron. And I'm not going to let you indoctrinate our kids to hate this country. Check this out. Here's this guy from the UK. What's this cat's name? This guy. Stay with it. This guy, he comes over here from the UK. He's like, man, I got to tell you, you guys with the Second Amendment, I can't believe we're such overseas. You have that right here because you live in the greatest country on earth. Check this guy out. This is good stuff.
One of the things that's become extremely apparent to me after spending a few days here with a group of Americans and other nationalities is how much of a English people are in general when it comes to arms, guns, and basically protecting their nation. We've been totally pacified in the UK, and through removal of our arms, our right to bear arms, it's caused a big problem for us. And now our government is basically turning into this absolutely tyrannical, feminine leadership that is gradually eroding all of our rights. And there's really not much we can do about it.
Yes, Spencer Tarring in that video. That's who that is. You're damn right. You want to protect yourself here? You live in the free state of Florida, not the tyrannical city of New York where they, God forbid, you have a gun to defend you. The criminals get guns, because criminals don't give a shit about gun laws. That's why they're freaking criminals. Whole essence of being a criminal is you don't care about laws. If you did, you wouldn't be a criminal. Logic. Remember you take a logic course in college? Why are criminals criminals, Justin? Because they don't give a shit about laws. That's why it's called committing a crime. You broke the... Oh, okay. No, but they definitely care about gun laws. Down here in Florida, we have a constitutional carry state. You carry a gun. You know what? The crime rates are really low because you just don't break in a house in Florida. What's waiting for you on the other side, Justin? Yes, a man or woman with a gun who will likely kill you because we have stand your ground too. Was that Grady Judd? Was that the Florida sheriff? He's like, yes, you can kill them. It's less paperwork. I don't like killing. Like, killing's not a good thing. I don't want. But however you come in my house, burglarize my house in the middle of the night, and it's us or you. It's you. I'm sorry, it's you. It's not mean. I'm not trying to be a dick about it. I'll avoid it if I can, but you're in my house. I'm sorry. By the way, they love our accents too. You know, you see these movies and everybody's like, that James Bond, that's the greatest thing ever. You ever see the other side of it? They think we have great accents. No, yeah, they do. Here's this lady saying, man, I really love these Americans with the howdy and all this other stuff. I love it. And she talks about how we like have better words. They come to the United States. They love this place. You should love it too. You should love it too. You live here now. You don't have to come here. You're already here. Check this out.
Americans, I am convinced that you guys have the best accent in the whole world. I love it so much. Every single time someone says hello to me, I just want to carry on the conversation, the better. When you guys say howdy, it's just so good. And you have so many better words than us. I wish I had an American accent. I just want to hear yes sir, yes ma'am, all day.
As a transplant to the South, although South Florida is not really the South. You know the old line about Florida, right? The more south you go, the more north you get. So I don't want to fake it, but having lived in Georgia for a while.
Okay. All right. I can only take so much about Gino. But what we were talking about last night on the live Q&A was all of these videos coming out by the Europeans that are visiting the United States. And they're realizing they've been lied to. They've been lied to by their news and media. They've been lied to by their politicians. That America isn't this crazy, dangerous place that they all thought it was going to be. It's not all ragged and beat down, that the people aren't all mean and angry and going to attack you. Instead, it's a very nice place. And there's tons of videos of Europeans coming over right now and visiting all the national parks. They love America. It's like the greatest red pill in the world. It's freaking crazy. And I thought it was awesome that Bongino says he starts crying at the end. We were almost there. We're 1 minute away, but we didn't need to see that. What's up, Tammy? How are we doing?
How's it going? Interesting. I played some of those clips on my show this week as well because they were so great. There was one guy who kind of went viral on Instagram, I think, where he was just like, is anybody else enjoying these clips where, you know, these Europeans are going off about how awesome our country is and don't ever let anybody tell you anything else. And so it was really good to see all that stuff and more proof that what we see online, not true, right?
Well,
not true.
Yeah.
Like you said, the biggest red pill.
Yeah, I call it the end of an era, right? Like right now, you go talk to any boomers and be like, Russia's bad. Oh, Ruskies, right? But that's the Cold War psychological operations in effect. And I don't think Americans realize that the psychological warfare worked both ways during the Cold War, and that what you believed to be Russia was not really how Russia was.
It's true.
And like the Europeans, they're realizing that they're under the guise of this psychological warfare campaign, that everybody is being orchestrated to hate everybody else in their way of life and to love what they have. We were talking about it last night, like Europeans, like, they were like, there's one video, they're out there to talk about milk. They're like, oh my God, you got so much milk, a gallon of milk. And then someone else is like, well, that's because Europeans have very small refrigerators. I don't know if you've ever been in someone's house in Europe. They have mini fridges. So their milks are only like this big.
Yeah. And even, you know, I'll say growing up in Canada, there's drastic differences growing up in Canada and moving to the US. I did in the 90s, in the mid 90s. And still, like, everything's just bigger. Everything's a little more flashier. It's a little louder. It's, you know, and I love it. I love that part.
Sorry, I don't speak Canadian.
Yeah. No, seriously though, people think, and I know you have some Canadian audience members too, and we don't think that there's too much of a difference between Canada and the US, but particularly in British Columbia, there's a huge English influence there where I grew up. And so, yeah, when coming here, it was drastically different.
Yeah.
Different food, different everything's just a little, it's more of the wild, wild west here. And I knew that coming here. And it kind of always floors me when people come to America and then they're like, oh, it's kind of crazy here. It's like, well, what'd you expect?
Did you hear that the Scottish in Boston drank all the beer?
Yes, and I've seen like the videos of them in the pubs, and they're taking over the pubs, singing and everything, bringing a little bit of their influence into our pubs, which is it's just cool. And coming off of the UFC event on Sunday, I don't know if you caught that, but that was a phenomenal event. It was just amazing. It's so patriotic.
Weather modification at its best.
Yeah, well, there's that too. Oh, it's just magical that the clouds parted right
It was
around.
God. It was God. Pete Heggs us like, okay, guys, it worked. Thanks for that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But, the patriotism and just the people there and everybody that was, the 250 years is going to be a thing. Yeah. It's going to really be a thing this year. And it could be the thing that we really need to unite. So it's pretty exciting.
It's interesting, too, because a decade ago, and coming up to this, we could be at the end of the United States of America if it wasn't for a lot of different things that happened. A lot of what I don't think the globalists, we say deep state and globalists. I don't look at them as the same. I look at them as hierarchies, right? Deep state are internal to a nation, where the globalists are kind of this oligarchical control factor on the global stage. But you can just call them the International Criminal Organization, the cabal. But I look at the
that
cabal,
covers it.
Yeah, I don't think the cabal was ready for resistance. I don't think that they were ready for someone like Donald Trump in his first term to come in and start discombobulating all of their plans and ripping apart everything that they were doing. I don't think they planned for the people to take back the idea of information, for the people to wake up and no longer trust the mainstream narrative, the mainstream news and media, to no longer listen to their politicians or to their celebrities. I don't think they even knew how to deal with it, to the point where when they released COVID, instead of the great scare fear event that they were hoping for, they woke up the world.
Agreed. I mean, it was shaky times, though. Let's not kid ourselves. In the beginning there of COVID, it was shaky times, right? With a lot of people not really understanding, falling in line right away. There was it was messy. Mm-hmm. It was messy. But that is because of American culture. We are messy. And so it can be scary when we're trying to work things out, when we're fighting left and right and we're questioning things. But that's the very nature of Americans. We have a healthy skepticism of big government, period. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter who's in government either. We have to have that healthy skepticism. So we push back on people when they aren't doing the right things. It doesn't mean we don't, we don't support the movement. It doesn't mean we don't, support what's some of the other things that are going on, but we're starting to learn how important nuance is as well now. Before it was very tribal, where you're either on the left or you're on the right. Now we're seeing even, normies kind of cherry picking issues that they care about, like health. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. So they're like, well, I don't really trust the pharmaceutical companies now. It's like, oh, really? You don't?
Well,
shocker.
I will tell you one thing. I have never been bombarded so much before in my life with GLP-1 ads on Facebook.
It's insane.
Look, Facebook, I don't have a problem with you guys. You guys are good to me. You let me stream and all this stuff. But man, the ads are crazy.
Yeah, they are everywhere. And of course, we've talked about them on Naturally Inspired at length, because there are some serious things that obviously people need to be aware of when it comes to these ads. But yeah, they are, that alone should make everybody just stop and question all the rest of it. If they're willing to push out a drug that, by the way, already has a class action lawsuit, that's been filed against it. If they're willing to push it at like no holds barred, what about all the other drugs? What about all the lies about statins, the lies about the Alzheimer's drugs, right? We now know that the very premise of Alzheimer's drugs to reduce plaque has been fabricated. The Alzheimer's study back in 2021 proved that, they had doctored images of plaque in the brain when it came to Alzheimer's studies. And it actually set back Alzheimer's research about 14 years because the whole premise of the plaque issue has been proven false. So they will stop at no lengths for product development, for money, for power and control over the people.
Well, I look at it like this, right? So like the I'm not going to name the names of the products, but the GLP-1 antagonizers, I think they are.
Yep.
But what
agonist.
These are, an agonist, that's right.
Yep.
What these are you remember the surgery that people used to go through, the gastric bypass, that they'd put a little clip on your stomach? This is nothing but that in a pill form. It is the cheap, cheating way to lose weight. It's the lazy way to lose weight.
Yeah, but it's not even sustainable, right? You have to continue on these drugs because I was talking about this week with the Naturally Inspired Moment on my show, is that we've been fooled into thinking that the finish line equals success. Once you get to the finish line, now you have success, right? Have you ever heard of gold medal syndrome?
No.
Okay, so gold medal syndrome means that, if you're an Olympian and you're working towards a goal and you finally get the gold medal win, and then guess what happens? Depression sets in.
Oh,
and
so
the reason being is because we aren't happy at the finish line. We are actually happiest chasing something. Progressing. Progress is what makes us happy, not necessarily the finish line. It's progress. So this should help everybody embrace the transformation process. Well, I call it the transformation process because there's the formula. So where you're starting out at and all the time in between to where you get to the goal, that's where you're happiest.
Yeah.
Because you're in progress mode.
So there's an interesting part here because what you were just talking about, gold medal syndrome, it's known in other areas as well. The guys that went to the moon, when they came back, most of them suffered from alcoholism and depression because they had achieved this great feat. And now what? Right? They tried everything. And there's actually a new study going on right now with special forces, U.S. military special forces operators. And I think it was I forget the guy's name. He was a SEAL Team 6 member, and he was doing an interview and he was talking about this. And he's talking to his buddy. He comes back and his buddy's like, "Hey, what's going on?" He goes, "Oh, just got diagnosed with PTSD." And he goes, "Got PTSD?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, I do." And he said, "No, you don't have post-traumatic stress syndrome. You have a lack of stress syndrome."
Right.
You have a lack of stress syndrome. The problem that you're dealing with is that you ran for 10 years in the teams doing these highly dangerous, high risk, adverse activities. And then all of a sudden you're not. And your body doesn't know what to do.
That's right. And you get conditioned to that dopamine hit, right? I talk about neural pathways all the time. They're like circuits that we run in our brains. And so the phones and technology also creates that kind of dopamine fix. And that's what's created this heavy addiction to technology as well. But if we don't get that hit, then we start to, our mood starts to slump. And we need more in order to feel better, to feel like we're achieving. We also want to believe that something is possible. That's a big part of achieving goals too. So there's this idea that, once you get to the end and you've accomplished it, that it's a great big win. Right? It's like a great big thing for you to accomplish this. But then there's a letdown. And then this is a funny part too, is that, well, not funny, haha, but kind of an interesting part is that when people achieve a goal, they don't go back and tell other people, it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
They don't do that. And so that makes everybody continue to think that the finish line is actually the thing that's the most exciting time.
It's not. It's the journey
not.
There.
That's right. That's the way our brains are wired. So very interesting for anybody on a health journey right now, because when you're on a health journey, you're constantly thinking, I just need to lose the weight. I just need to get off the blood pressure medication. I just want to get off the statins. I want to get off this. We have this goal in mind. But the truth of the matter is, you can be happy right now. You can be happy by just taking the first steps in progress, committing to something in order to start the progress to something else, right? To different results. But guess what? You are always going to be in progress when it comes to your health. It's never over until you're dead. You're always going to be in pursuit of better health. No matter, your goals will change. But you're always going to be in pursuit of better health as long as you're alive. So what a great thing to have be a part of your life, to keep you up in your mood, to keep you excited and driving forward, is to be in progress of optimum health every day. I was just reading a biography of a lady who is now 80 years old, and she started weightlifting at 68. And this woman has a body that is better composition than most 25-year-old. Seriously, she has got muscle. She has got the whole package.
Does she have an OnlyFans?
No. She has an Instagram.
I like older ladies. No.
So the point being is it's so possible, right? It's the memories that we house in our brains, in our thought process, the memories of past experiences. And we think, I don't know if I can do this. This didn't work last time. I can't do it. Your history does not determine your future. It doesn't. These are just memories that are kind of holding you back. And we've been talking a lot about that on Naturally Inspired Radio, how we attach our thought process to memories. And we're constantly looking for threat, and we're constantly looking for things that are going to harm us instead of thinking about things that are going to help us, having a good expectation for things turning out well instead of an expectation problem where we expect things are going to go wrong. These little shifts in our thinking can dramatically change our outcomes. And I think we're living in such a crazy time, right? We talk about AI all the time and how crazy it is, but also exciting. I don't think anybody's really bored right now.
Definitely not bored right now. And, JD Vance was asked, he just did the Diary of a CEO's podcast.
Oh, I haven't seen it. Okay,
I
cool.
haven't either, but I saw this clip, and JD Vance was asked if aliens were real. And this is what I mean by we're living in exciting times. This is the Vice President of the United States. Listen to what he says.
The question that's left for you is, I think it was slightly biased, but the question is, are aliens real?
It's interesting. The answer is I don't know. It is something that I have sworn to myself. I'm now a year and a half into this job, that I would go through all of the highly classified information about everything that we know about UFOs. I just haven't done it yet. It's like one of these crazy things where you get to the job and the day-to-day just takes over. So I haven't done that yet. But I mean, look, I believe in things, and I think that they're true, and I think that they're rational, but I recognize that there may be even crazier than the idea that there are extraterrestrials. Like, I believe that a Jewish man about 2,000 years ago was the only begotten Son of God, was literally crucified and then rose from the dead 3 days later. Like, I recognize that sounds a little out there, but I think that it's true. And I 100% believe that people have mystical experiences. I mean, I've talked to people who have been involved in exorcisms, And again, I think the rational mind says, well, it's just schizophrenia or that's some other mental illness. I've talked to people who said, yeah, 99.9% of the people that I've looked at to do an exorcism on were schizophrenic or had some other mental illness. But there are weird things out there that we cannot explain. There are weird moments. I mean, I remember not long after my grandmother died, my sister lost, she didn't really lose her temper, but like got kind of angry with her daughter, and her daughter's, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old at the time, and like the light bulb just exploded. And both of us looked at each other like that was Mamaw. Remember I was talking, I write about this in Communion. I was talking to the New York Times writer.
And he goes through some mystical experiences that he had. But this, and then at the end he says, yes, I believe aliens are real. But this is what we're talking about in 2026, season 2026 of Earth, right? Is that we have the Vice President of the United States of America up there stating, yes, I believe aliens are real. And yes, mystical experiences are very, very real. These things are an everyday occurrence, even though they're rare for some of us. And I think that is a huge transition from the world that we're leaving and the world we're going into. And I mean, what I mean by that, and people are like we're actually leaving this world. No, is that we're transitioning a paradigm. We are completely like leaving the 20th century behind, the psychological, the influence ops, all of this. We're leaving that behind, and we're opening up new parallels. The things that were talked about in the aspect of conspiracy or, with beers and by a fire on a Friday night are now becoming normal and everyday conversations of things that are actually within reality.
Agreed. More of these mainstream platforms are having conversations about consciousness. They're having conversations about the stuff we don't know. It's a little annoying, to be honest, because people like you and I have been talking about this for a very long time, right? We've been discussing kind of the higher faculties of humans. We've been discussing the stuff we can explain, the esoteric stuff. We've been talking about this a long time. So it's a little annoying, okay? It's a little annoying when a mainstream podcast is talking about consciousness and people's ability to, remote view and do things like that. It is a tad annoying right now, but nonetheless, I think it's really exciting that they are talking about it because it's opening everybody's mind, right? It's just that, that was brushed off as like craziness and conspiratorial stuff before. And now, because it's out there more in the mainstream, people are understanding, even if they don't believe it right now, they're being exposed to it, right? And once you're exposed to it, well, guess what? It's going to come up again, right? It's going to come up again. It's going to come up again. And then maybe they read a book about it. So it's exciting because the very topic of this is opening people's awareness around it to develop their own higher faculties. And that's what we need. We need that right now. That's what we need right now more than ever, is to take personal responsibility and be willing to develop our higher faculties and thinking, not get trapped by old memories and thought patterns that continually produce the same results. It is time to crack open your consciousness and embrace it and go with it. And try these things, the meditation, I just covered remote viewing again with the Gates program and how they were training children how to remote view.
Yeah.
It's real, people. Okay. It's real.
Very, very real. And another part of that is closure and accountability. There's some breaking news. Tulsi Gabbard on her last day as Director of National Intelligence.
Before the COVID pandemic, Dr. Fauci, as head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, provided millions in U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund dangerous gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, work which is now widely viewed as the source of the unintentional lab leak that sparked the pandemic. Now, in support of President Trump's maximum transparency mandate, today, on my final day as Director of National Intelligence, I'm releasing never-before-seen communications and documents that expose exactly how Fauci worked with politicized career leadership in the intelligence community to suppress the truth about his actions the virus's lab leak origins, and his role in directing U.S. funding for this dangerous research that caused immeasurable harm and countless lost lives. Now, these documents expose Fauci's direct role in influencing and manipulating IC assessments on COVID-19, and how Fauci lied to Congress in 2024 when under oath he denied knowledge of or participation in discussions with intelligence officials about viral research. We also received testimony from multiple intelligence community whistleblowers who reported retaliation for challenging the intelligence community's manipulation of intelligence on the virus's origins, once again revealing a clear pattern of suppressing dissent, silencing critics, and burying the truth.
Wow.
It's 5 minutes long, but I'm telling you, criminal indictments are about to flow.
Oh gosh, from your lips to God's ears, man. I sure hope so. This has been such a long haul, such a long haul, and so many people's lives, relationships. That's the thing, I can I have my Facebook back now? It's only been 4 years, since I got the boot off of there. But more importantly, and in all seriousness, the fallout from COVID is the relationships lost, families broken, because they were so divided. And this was, it was a huge lie, maybe even the biggest crime against humanity ever. Yeah, I mean, that was where, we had the height of Trump derangement syndrome really kind of have its impact, where it split families and friends into. Before that, people were still having conversations and going to Christmas dinner and Thanksgiving and stuff. Right.
But it was during COVID when all of that came tumbling down. But it's also at the same point in time when people woke up.
It is. What's an interesting conversation that I hope continues on in coming years is, why was it that some people were able to see the truth? Okay. So what was different about our thinking patterns compared to the other people who just were like so almost violently compliant? Right? Those, you know what I'm talking about? Those people that were chasing you down in the grocery store for not wearing a mask. The people that were just like, I think that should be studied. Yeah.
Well, I think that it's a psychological state that occurs. How about this? Religion, I think, is the best mechanism of this. Is that when you attack somebody's religion, they are guaranteed to defend their position, their belief structure, their ideology, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether they're Jews, the Jews they'll kill you, right? The Muslims, they'll kill you. Christians, they'll yell at you, they'll scream at you, they'll hit you, they'll run you over with a car, right? So I think that it's the same core concept, that what you have is this cult-like psychological mentality that is developed around this ideologies, these various different ideologies. And that when it's contested, that they don't have the rationale to fight back with words. And so they express it in violence and anger and ad hominem.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the facts weren't there. It's still fascinating. I got to say this. It's so fascinating because I remember waiting for the vaccine to drop, right? For it to come out. And then I went directly to the Pfizer website and I read about the vaccine. And there was tables on the CDC website where you could see what your risk was. And at the time, I looked at everybody in my family and our risk was almost nothing, right? With no comorbidities, my kids being their ages and whatnot. It was such a low risk. It made no sense to take the vaccine because it just the facts, right? The facts showed me that we had a better chance. We had a very high percentage, of coming through COVID completely fine. And then when you went and looked at the product website, on the website, it clearly stated this product does not stop transmission. It may keep you out of the hospital and it may keep you from dying. Those were the only two claims that the COVID-19 vaccine ever made, was that it may keep you out of the hospital and it may keep you from dying. And one of the side effects, 1,145 of them, one of them was death. So if you have a 99 point, because my kids had like a 99.999% chance of getting COVID and being totally fine with it, right? Or a novel technology and 1,145 different adverse reactions of concern. It was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But they created this fake narrative on TV. They created this fake narrative through social media. They suppressed any, dissident voices, like Tulsi was saying. And that was criminal because people made choices based on a narrative that was woven, not on any facts from actual sourced information. And for that, these people need to go to jail. They need to go to jail.
I agree. And not only that is, one of the things that Tulsi Gabbard said during that video was unintentional release. And I noticed how she kind of said pause, right? And then accentuated NLP, non-linguistic programming, neuro-linguistic programming. She was intentionally accentuating that word, not because I think that she was trying to tell people that it was unintentional, but because she was trying to tell people that this was intentional, but I can't say it. Right. And what do I mean by that is that I believe it was China who actually released it.
Oh, you do?
Now, well, because the reason Trump is trying to get Bill Pulte over to the DNI is so that he can direct him to start releasing all of the stuff on election integrity and infrastructure. Because this is Tulsi's last day and she's leaving it to Bill to do this. But that's going to show foreign interference in the 2020 election. What is going to be on top of that is China. That China was a big component of this, funding parts of Cuba and Venezuela. Ukraine was a part of this and other countries, but China was one of the big components. And COVID plays into that. They needed a global crisis.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it hit a lot of, it killed a lot of birds with one stone, let me tell you, because they have been working on the universal vaccine for a very long time. And we have footage of Fauci at the Milken Institute talking about, the only way we'd be able to get people to take vaccines if we manufactured them differently would be if there was some kind of crisis.
Right.
I mean, they have been waiting for this technology to be able to come mainstream. They knew people would give pushback on it. That's why they changed the definition of vaccine, right? Because they knew that people understand the term vaccine. They knew people would resist mRNA technology because it was new, it was novel. Yeah. And so they knew precisely what they were doing, which means it was premeditated, which means that the consequences should be even stronger towards these people.
Oh, I agree 100%. And their government, they're service oriented. I mean, geez.
Yeah.
Put these people in front of a firing squad.
Yes. Yes. And, we can only pray that families will mend and that, the cognitive dissonance was so incredible that I feel like even if we get people arrested, we're still going to have a smaller demographic of people that are going to be like, this is Trump. It's like, what? Oh my gosh.
I'm starting
what more
to think
proof
that,
do you need?
I'm starting to think that more people are aware of what's going on in the world, or at least understand and are not afraid of it, than there is people who are for it and with it. In other words, the Marxist agenda that we've seen over the last 20 years, the numbers that have been propped up, 88 million for Joe Biden, all of this, it's all a lie. It's all one big fucking lie. Yeah. California is a prime example of that. I mean, I was talking about this before you came on, is the mayoral race. They had to go to Skid Row and pay $2 a ballot to 40,000 people just to get the votes to get their candidates over. And guess what? The FBI is now on Skid Row interviewing people.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Can we get a live cam on that?
But I mean, that's fucking awesome.
Excuse me, sir.
But here's
It
the
is
thing
awesome. It is awesome. What do you think of Spencer Pratt?
I don't have any. I think he's awesome. I think he's pretty cool. I think that he's got really good intentions. I think that if we had free and fair elections, he would absolutely
have won.
Decimate Karen Bass. Yeah. But I think that we're probably going to see another election in California due to this.
Well, that would be the start, right? Because if it's possible there and they can prove it there, then we're going to see a bigger understanding. So super exciting times for sure. I want to invite everybody. I've got a special on right now. Everybody, it's summer, and I have a delicious pina colada shake that's high in protein, 20 grams of protein per scoop, and it tastes fantastic. And just for this audience, I have a recipe for your sweet frozen treat for the summer with no guilt. You can just go to redpillhealth.info and you can pick up your pina colada shake. And you can also get my recipe book. You can get my recipe book for the frozen treat using this protein powder. And don't forget, when you become a customer, you get all my coaching for free. So not only can you pick up a frozen treat for the summer, guilt-free frozen treat, because you've got to have your sweet treats throughout the summer, especially when it's hot outside. You got to have them, but get one that's healthy.
I call them beer.
That's a different treat. That's a different treat. But don't forget, you get all my coaching for free, right? So if what we were talking about here tonight resonated with you and you want to start progress on an optimum health journey, start with us at Naturally Inspired. You get all the coaching for free just for being a customer. You get to do our Tuesday night weekly wellness workshops. We talk a different health topic every week. You're never going to find this kind of support anywhere else at this price, let me tell you. Because we want to change the medical model. That's my whole mission here. And it's happening. Some great announcements from Bobby Kennedy this week too, Josh. I don't know if you caught them. $75 healthcare is coming. We're going to get concierge doctor availability. There's lots of things happening behind the scenes. Health hasn't been in the news too much because of everything that's been going on geopolitically, but there are things happening behind the scenes and it is exciting. But we can't do it without the people.
Did you see his post like 2 days ago? Let me see if I can
with
find
his sister.
Yeah, I got it right here.
I loved it.
Because the day before, everybody was saying, "Oh, Bobby's gonna leave before the midterms."
Yes,
right?
I saw that. Yeah,
and then he posts this out there with my sister Carrie in 1964 pre-TDS, and I love that because it just shows that dude, I love Trump. Like, Trump, right? But pre-TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. So
yeah. And I will just say, I heard that rumor being circulated by Robert Malone that Bobby Kennedy was going to leave. And I will just say this without, saying anything bad about anybody, but I'm just a little skeptical about that guy.
Bob? Yeah.
Yep. I never interviewed him. I interviewed Peter McCullough. I interviewed, Meryl Nass. I interviewed all those guys during COVID. But that one, I don't know. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, when you work for a company and develop an mRNA vaccine or
Bingo.
mRNA technology, and it's actually funded by DARPA, you got to wonder who your affiliations are with.
Yeah. And to me, I just think like the pursuit, this fight that he puts out, I think it's more about him claiming his own patents and getting his cut of the pie.
Maybe.
That's what it has seemed like to me the entire time. Peter Bregan is somebody else I interviewed, and he really, Dr. Malone really went after Dr. Peter Bregan in a very strange way. So that also kind of set off my spidey senses with that. So take whatever he says with a grain of salt, I guess is what I'm saying.
All right, guys. Tammy, appreciate you joining me. I'm sorry for all the lateness. We had problems with Rumble, and then I was late to get into this show, and we finally got everything up and running, and I appreciate you holding on back there and coming on and actually delivering a great show, great conversation. We are off next week. So next week I'm at the Great American Restoration Tour in Deadwood, South Dakota. But for everybody else out there, I am coming up next in about 20 minutes on the OG show, Overwatch and The Guardian. And tonight's show is Cue the Plan, because it is the 17th episode. If you can understand what we're talking about, maybe you'll be there and we can have a great show. So I'll see many of you guys over there here in about 20 minutes. Everybody else, I'll see you tomorrow night on the Daily Dose. Tammy, once again, thank you for joining us. Guys, go visit her over there, redpillhealth.info, as well. Text 720-303-8868. Much love, respect. God bless. Take care. Have a great night. We'll see you next time.
Good night, everybody. Thanks, Josh.
Good night.
There was a time when our children stood tall, hand on their hearts, one voice for all. There was a time when honor had weight, when the flag was a symbol, not a debate. There was a time when our history was known, with pride in the rules that made us our own. There was a time, respect for the brave, for those who bled, for the lives they gave. Now the homeland burns in silent war. Truth is twisted, we can't ignore. Voice still calls, we the people will not fall. There was a time, but the time isn't near. The great awakening is here. Dark to light, veil undone, patriots rise. We are one, land of the free, home of the brave. Children of freedom, stand for the light. There was a time when truth was clear, when the media served, not ruled by fear. There was a time when leaders stood fast, guarding the people, defending the past. Now corruption wears a crown, lies are fed to tear us down. But Q said watch, and Q said see. The silent war will set us free. From the front lines, soldiers stare, wondering if we're still there. Their blood, their hope, their sacrifice will not be sold for a life's prize. There was a time, but the time isn't near. The great awakening is here. Dark to light, the veil undone, patriots rise. We are one, land of the free, home of the brave. No more silence, no more slaves. Answer the call, take back the fight. Children of freedom, stand for the light.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on. Or we will spend our sunset years telling our children what it was once like in the United States where men were free.
There was a time, the time is near. The great awakening is here. Dark to light, veil undone, patriot children of freedom, stand for the light. There was a time, there was a time, now is the time. Do it.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation. I want you to get mad.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
The more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
These people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy.
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!